Lieutenant Ta-1 Park stood at the viewport of the Earth diplomatic ship, watching as Neria's swirling purple atmosphere came into view. The alien planet, with its 3 moons and glittering ring system, was humanity's newest ally in the vast cosmos. Ta-1 straightened his uniform and touched the long case strapped to his back. Inside was his grandfather's sword, a family treasure he couldn't bear to leave behind on Earth. "First time meeting Nerians?" asked Captain Lee, stepping beside him. "Yes, sir. I've studied their culture extensively, but meeting them in person." Ta-1 let the thought trail off. "There's something else," Captain Lee nodded. "Beautiful creatures. Those 4 arms take some getting used to. And don't stare at their skin. They communicate with those light patterns." The ship docked at Neria's orbital station with a gentle thud. Ta-1 followed the diplomatic team through the airlock, trying to appear confident despite his racing heart. This was his first assignment as a cultural liaison officer, and he didn't want to embarrass Earth. The welcoming party of Nerians waited in the docking bay. Ta-1 caught his breath at the sight of them. Their skin glowed with subtle patterns of blue and green light that shifted like northern lights. Each Nerian had 4 slender arms and large, expressive eyes without pupils. One Nerian stepped forward, her skin brightening as she approached. She was smaller than the others, with delicate features and skin that shimmered with hints of pink along with the standard blue-green. "Welcome to Neria. I am Jinnah, assigned to assist Lieutenant Park." Her voice was melodious, with perfect English pronunciation, despite her mouth being shaped differently from a human's. Ta-1 bowed slightly. "The honor is mine." Jinnah's eyes widened at his bow, and her skin flickered with quick pulses of light. "You have studied our customs. How thoughtful." She returned the gesture with all 4 of her arms extended. "I hope to represent Earth with respect," Ta-1 said. Jinnah led him through the station toward his quarters. "You'll stay here during the adjustment period before moving to the surface embassy. Nerian gravity and atmosphere need careful acclimation for humans." As they walked, Ta-1 noticed Jinnah's eyes kept darting to the case on his back. "What is that long container you carry?" she finally asked. "A personal item," Ta-1 replied carefully. Weapons weren't forbidden, but he knew displaying one might send the wrong message. Jinnah's skin pulsed with curious patterns. "Personal? You mean private?" "Yes, exactly." "How strange," Jinnah said. "Nerians don't have private possessions. We share everything." Ta-1 made a mental note of this cultural difference. Humans sometimes keep special items to themselves. It's not meant to be unfriendly. When they reached his quarters, Jinnah showed him how to use the alien fixtures. The room was designed with human comfort in mind, but still felt distinctly alien with its curved walls and bioluminescent lighting. "Rest now," Jinnah said. "Tomorrow we begin cultural orientation." After she left, Ta-1 carefully removed the sword case and placed it under his bed. He knew he should probably lock it in the secure storage provided for personal effects, but he couldn't bear to part with it yet. The next morning, Jinnah arrived to escort him to orientation. As Ta-1 was leaving, the sword case slipped from where he'd hidden it, clattering to the floor. Jinnah's skin flashed with surprise. "What's this long thing you're hiding, Earthling?" "It's nothing dangerous," Ta-1 said quickly. "Just a family heirloom." Jinnah tilted her head. "May I see it?" Ta-1 hesitated. "I'd rather not. It's private." Jinnah's skin dimmed slightly. Privacy is such a strange concept. Nerians believe openness builds trust. "Different cultures have different ways," Ta-1 said gently. "Maybe someday I'll show you." At the orientation, Ta-1 met other Nerians who would work with the Earth Embassy. Most were friendly, but he noticed a few whose skin displayed patterns that seemed cold or suspicious. "Some of my people are cautious about aliens," Jinnah explained during their lunch break. "We had a bad experience with another species long ago." "I understand," Ta-1 said. "Trust takes time." As the day progressed, Ta-Wan noticed Jin-A growing more comfortable with him. Her questions became more personal, her skin glowing warmer when they spoke. That evening, as Jin-A walked him back to his quarters, she stopped suddenly in the corridor. "I must ask something," she said, her skin pulsing with determination. "This long thing you keep hidden, is it a weapon?" Ta-Wan considered his answer carefully. "It's a sword, a traditional weapon from my family, but I keep it as a symbol, not for fighting." "A symbol of what?" "Honor, duty, connection to my ancestors." Jin-A's skin rippled with thoughtful patterns. "We have similar traditions, though not with weapons. Would you show it to me sometime? I want to understand humans better." Ta-Wan smiled. "When the time is right, I will." Jin-A's skin brightened happily. "I look forward to it." She hesitated, then added, "And perhaps there are Narian traditions I could share with you too." As they parted ways, Ta-Wan felt a strange warmth in his chest. Despite their differences, despite the suspicion of some Narians, he had found a connection with Jin-A. And maybe, just maybe, his grandfather's sword would help build a bridge between their worlds instead of creating a barrier. 3 weeks had passed since Ta-Wan's arrival on Naria, and he was slowly adjusting to life among the 4-armed aliens. Their orbital station, with its curved corridors and bioluminescent lighting, no longer seemed so strange. He had even grown accustomed to the slightly lighter gravity that made him feel bouncy when walking. Jin-A arrived at his quarters each morning, her skin glowing with cheerful patterns. Today, she wore what she called a friendship pattern, swirls of warm pink light dancing across her blue-green skin. "Good morning, Ta-Wan," she greeted him. "Are you ready for the ambassador's reception tonight?" Ta-Wan nodded, though his stomach tightened at the thought. The reception would be his first major diplomatic event, with important Narians from the planet's surface attending. "I think so. Should I bring a gift? On Earth, that's sometimes customary." Jin-A's skin flickered with surprise. "A gift? No, that would be strange. We share everything freely. Bringing a special item only for one person would be seen as creating separation." Ta-Wan made a mental note. "Thank you for telling me. I'm still learning." As they walked to the cultural center for his daily language lesson, Jin-A suddenly asked, "Do you still have that long thing? Your family sword?" Ta-Wan glanced around, making sure no other Narians were within earshot. "Yes, of course." "Why do you keep it hidden?" "Several staff members have asked me about it. Rumors are spreading." Ta-Wan sighed. He should have known that in a culture of complete openness, his private item would cause talk. On Earth, some objects have deep personal meaning. The sword belonged to my grandfather, who raised me after my parents died. Having it with me, it's like having a piece of him. Jin-A's skin dimmed to a soft, sympathetic glow. "I'm sorry about your parents. We have similar attachments to items that belong to those who have joined the Great Light." Later that day, during lunch in the station's communal dining area, Ta-Wan noticed a group of Narians watching him. Their skin displayed pulsing patterns he couldn't interpret, but their stares felt unfriendly. "Those are members of the traditional path," Jin-A explained quietly. "They believe contact with other species dilutes our culture." "Are they dangerous?" Ta-Wan asked. "Not dangerous, just concerned. The leader, Hyumki, has been asking questions about your hidden object." Ta-Wan frowned. "It's just a ceremonial sword. But in our history, those who hide things often have bad intentions," Jin-A said. "Openness is how we survived as a species." That evening, as Ta-Wan prepared for the reception, he decided to leave his sword case locked in his room's storage compartment. No need to fuel more rumors. The reception hall was stunning, with walls that seemed to shift colors with the mood of the crowd. Hundreds of Narians mingled, their skin creating a breathtaking light show as they conversed. Ambassador Kim introduced Ta-Wan to countless officials, whose names he struggled to remember. Jin-A stayed by his side, subtly helping him navigate the complex social dynamics. Lieutenant Park, a deep voice said behind him. I've been curious to meet you. Taiwan turned to face a tall Nerian whose skin glowed with intense orange patterns. Jinna's skin briefly flashed with alarm. This is Hyun Ki, leader of the traditional path, she said. Taiwan bowed respectfully. I'm honored to meet you. Hyun Ki's forearms remained still, not returning the gesture. I understand you keep a weapon hidden in your quarters. The nearby conversations quieted. Taiwan felt many eyes turned toward him. It's a family heirloom, he explained calmly. A ceremonial sword with no combat purpose. Yet you hide it. Hyun Ki countered, his skin pulsing with skeptical patterns. In our culture, hidden things represent danger. Ambassador Kim stepped forward. Lieutenant Park is respecting both our cultures while serving here. His personal items are protected under our treaty. Hyun Ki's skin darkened. Treaties can be interpreted many ways. He turned and walked away, leaving an uncomfortable silence. The reception continued, but Taiwan felt the weight of suspicious glances. When it finally ended, Jinna walked him back to his quarters. I'm sorry about Hyun Ki, she said. Not all Nerians share his views. Taiwan sighed. Maybe I should just show everyone the sword and be done with it. Jinna touched his arm with one of her lower hands, a gesture he'd learned indicated closeness. May I see it? Perhaps I could help explain its significance to others. After a moment's hesitation, Taiwan unlocked the storage compartment and carefully removed the long case. Inside was the katana, its black lacquered scabbard inlaid with silver patterns of cherry blossoms. Jinna's skin brightened with wonder. It's beautiful. This is what you've been hiding. Taiwan nodded, removing the sword carefully. The blade caught the light as he held it up. My grandfather taught me its forms as a child. It's not for fighting. It's for discipline, for connecting to our ancestors. May I? Jinna asked, reaching out. Taiwan hesitated, then placed the hilt in her upper right hand. Jinna held it awkwardly with her slender fingers. It feels important, she said softly. I can sense why you cherish it. As she returned it, their hands touched. Jinna's skin rippled with a pattern Taiwan hadn't seen before, something like rapidly flowing waves of light. What does that pattern mean? He asked. Jinna's skin immediately shifted back to a more neutral glow, with hints of pink at her face. It's personal, she said. Taiwan smiled. So Nerians do have some private things after all. Jinna laughed, a musical sound. Perhaps we're learning from each other, Earthling. She moved toward the door. Tomorrow we visit the surface gardens. I think you'll like them. After she left, Taiwan carefully returned the sword to its case, thinking about the new pattern he'd seen on Jinna's skin. He wasn't sure what it meant, but somehow he felt they had crossed an important boundary together. Taiwan stepped off the transport pod onto Neria's surface for the first time. After 2 months on the orbital station, he had finally completed his atmospheric adjustment treatments. The planet's purple sky stretched above him, and strange spiral plants dotted the landscape around the embassy compound. What do you think? Jinna asked, her skin glowing with excitement. It's beautiful, Taiwan replied honestly. The gravity was slightly stronger here than on the station, but still lighter than Earth's. I feel like I could jump to those mountains. Jinna laughed. Please don't try. Your bones are still adapting. The Earth embassy on Neria's surface was a blend of human and Nerian architecture, straight lines and angles mixed with organic curves. Taiwan's new quarters were larger than his room on the station, with a window overlooking a garden of bioluminescent plants that glowed like Jinna's skin. You'll start working with the cultural exchange team tomorrow, Jinna explained as she helped him unpack. We'll be teaching each other's history and customs. Taiwan carefully placed his sword case in the room's storage unit. I'm looking forward to it. Jinna's skin pulsed with hesitation. Taiwan, there's something I should tell you. Hyun Ki and his followers have been spreading concerns about humans. They're saying Earth requested additional security forces. Taiwan frowned. That's true, but it's standard procedure. There have been reports of space pirates in the neighboring system. Tenarians, bringing weapons to another's home suggests distrust. Hyun-Ki is using this to build opposition to the alliance. That night, Taiwan couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Jin-Ah's warning and the cultural misunderstanding that was brewing. Around midnight, he retrieved his grandfather's sword and began practicing the slow, deliberate forms that had always helped clear his mind. He didn't hear his door slide open. "So this is what you do with your hidden weapon," came Hyun-Ki's voice. Taiwan spun around, sword still in hand. Hyun-Ki stood in the doorway with two other Narians, their skin glowing with harsh orange patterns. "How did you get in here?" Taiwan demanded, lowering the sword. "I am chief of security for this district," Hyun-Ki said. "Earth's ambassador has authorized a security inspection after we detected unusual energy signatures." Taiwan suspected this was a lie, but arguing would only make things worse. "This is just a ceremonial sword. I was practicing meditation forms." Hyun-Ki's skin flashed with skeptical patterns. "Your Earth ship arrived today with military personnel. Now we find you training with a weapon in secret." "Those are routine security rotations," Taiwan explained. "And this isn't training for combat. It's a cultural practice." Hyun-Ki stepped forward, extending his upper right hand. "We will need to examine this weapon and case." "This is my personal property," Taiwan protested. "Not on Neria," Hyun-Ki countered. "Here, all things are shared, unless you have something to hide." Trapped by their cultural differences, Taiwan reluctantly handed over the sword. Hyun-Ki took it with surprising reverence, examining the blade. "Beautiful craftsmanship," he admitted, "but dangerous in the wrong hands." He passed it to one of his companions, who placed it in a containment field. "This will be returned after our investigation." After they left, Taiwan sat on the edge of his bed, feeling as if a piece of himself had been taken. He tapped his communication device. "Jin-Ah, I need your help." The next morning, news of the hidden Earth weapon had spread throughout the embassy. Taiwan faced suspicious glances from Narians who had been friendly the day before. Ambassador Kim called an emergency meeting. "Lieutenant Park, this situation is becoming a diplomatic incident," the ambassador said gravely. "Hyun-Ki is demanding that all human personal items be surrendered for inspection. It's a family heirloom, not a threat," Taiwan insisted. "I understand, but perception matters in diplomacy. The Narian Council is considering suspending our cultural exchange program." Jin-Ah entered the meeting room, her skin pulsing with agitation. "Ambassador, I've discovered something. The inspection wasn't authorized." Hyun-Ki acted without council approval. The ambassador's expression darkened. "That changes things, but challenging him directly could make this situation worse." "Let me try to get the sword back," Jin-Ah said. "As Taiwan's cultural liaison, I can request to examine it for educational purposes." After the meeting, Jin-Ah and Taiwan walked through the embassy gardens, speaking quietly. "Why would you help me?" Taiwan asked. "Your career could be at risk." Jin-Ah's skin rippled with the same wave-like pattern he had seen once before. "Because I understand now. Some things are personal. Some connections matter more than rules." That evening, as Taiwan was reviewing cultural briefings in his quarters, his door slid open. Jin-Ah slipped inside, her skin dimmed to near darkness. "I did it," she whispered, her voice trembling with excitement and fear. She pulled Taiwan's sword case from beneath her flowing outer garment. Taiwan stared in shock. "How?" "I requested to study it as a cultural artifact. When the guard was distracted by a small power fluctuation I may have caused, I took it." Jin-Ah's skin flickered with mischievous light. "I've never broken rules before. It's exhilarating." Taiwan took the case with shaking hands. "Jin-Ah, you shouldn't have. If they discover." "They will," she said seriously. "By morning, Hyun-Ki will know. But tonight, you can show me what this sword truly means to you." Show me why it matters. Taiwan opened the case slowly. What changed your mind about privacy and sharing? Jin A's skin glowed with soft pink patterns. I realized some things are too precious to force into the open. They must be freely given. She reached out one slender hand. Will you show me your forms? The meditation. Taiwan lifted the sword, feeling its familiar weight. Yes, he said softly. And tomorrow, we'll face whatever comes together. Morning arrived with the harsh buzz of alarms. Red warning lights flashed throughout the Earth Embassy as Taiwan jumped from his bed, instantly alert. Jin-Ah burst through his door, her skin pulsing rapidly with distress patterns. They know I took the sword, she gasped. Hyun-Ki has filed charges of theft and conspiracy against both of us. He's claiming your weapon contains hidden technology. Taiwan grabbed the sword case from under his bed. That's ridiculous. It's just steel and wood. In Narian law, taking someone's possessions without proper sharing protocols is a serious offense. I've broken our most sacred trust law, Jin-Ah explained, her normally melodious voice shaking. Ambassador Kim's voice came through the room's communication system. Lieutenant Park, report to the main hall immediately. Bring the item in question. As they hurried through the corridors, Taiwan noticed Narian security officers at every intersection. Their skin glowed with tense, alert patterns. How bad is this going to be? Taiwan asked quietly. Jin-Ah's four hands made nervous gestures. Hyun-Ki has convinced half the council that humans are hiding dangerous technology. He's demanding that all Earth personnel submit to full scanning and surrender all personal items. The main hall was filled with Narians and humans, an invisible line dividing the two groups. Ambassador Kim stood with the Earth delegation, facing the Narian council members. Hyun-Ki stood at the center, his orange glow harsh and accusatory. Lieutenant Park, Ambassador Kim said tightly, please step forward. Taiwan approached, the sword case clutched in his hands. Jin-Ah moved to follow him, but two Narian guards blocked her path. The human's accomplice will remain detained, Hyun-Ki announced. I acted alone, Jin-Ah protested, her skin flashing with defiance. Taiwan placed the sword case on the central table. This is my grandfather's katana. It's a traditional Japanese sword passed down through generations. There's no technology in it. Then you won't mind if we dismantle it for examination, Hyun-Ki said, reaching for the case. Wait, Taiwan's voice echoed through the hall. This sword represents my family's honor. I request the right to display it properly before any examination. The Narian High Counselor, an elderly female with pale blue skin, nodded slightly. Granted. Show us this human tradition. Taiwan took a deep breath, then opened the case with deliberate ceremony. The sword lay gleaming on its bed of dark cloth. He lifted it carefully, removed the scabbard, and began the first movement of the ancient kata his grandfather had taught him. The room fell silent as he moved through the graceful forms. The sword traced arcs through the air, catching the light. Taiwan focused on each movement, remembering his grandfather's gentle corrections, the hours of practice, the connection to ancestors he had never known. As he completed the final form, he heard Jin-Ah gasp. Looking down at the sword, he saw the handle glowing with an unexpected light. A small panel had opened in the hilt. What is this deception? Hyun-Ki demanded, stepping forward. Before anyone could stop him, Taiwan touched the glowing section. The sword hummed with energy, and suddenly the air above the blade filled with holographic images. An elderly Japanese man in traditional clothing, speaking directly to the camera. My dearest grandson. The image said in Japanese, with subtitles appearing in multiple languages including Narian script. If you are seeing this message, I have passed on, but my sword has remained your companion. Taiwan stared in shock, recognizing his grandfather's face and voice. The message continued, showing images of Earth, of Taiwan as a child practicing with a wooden sword, of his family history. I modified this ancient blade to carry our family stories to the stars, his grandfather explained. In your diplomatic work, you may face those who do not understand Earth's ways. Show them this, our history of moving from conflict to peace, our journey from swords as weapons to swords as art. The hologram expanded, showing historical footage of Earth's challenging path to global cooperation, the formation of the United Earth Government, and humanity's first peaceful contacts with alien species. The Narian Council members watched, their skin displaying patterns of surprise and wonder. Even Hyun-Ki seemed transfixed by the images. When the message ended, the sword returned to normal, the hidden panel closing seamlessly. Taiwan lowered the blade, his eyes wet with unexpected tears. I had no idea, he whispered. My grandfather never told me about this modification. Jinnah broke free from her guards and rushed to Taiwan's side. That was beautiful, she said, her skin glowing with warm, rippling patterns. The High Counselor stepped forward, her ancient skin glimmering with thoughtful patterns. This is not a weapon of war, but a vessel of memory and wisdom, she declared. It seems we have misunderstood human customs of privacy. Sometimes things are hidden not to deceive, but to protect what is precious until the moment of sharing brings the greatest meaning. Hyun-Ki's skin had darkened to a dull orange. The timing is too convenient, he protested. This could be a manufactured display. I've never seen this before, Taiwan said honestly. My grandfather died before I left Earth. This was his final gift to me. And apparently, to those I would meet among the stars. The High Counselor raised her 4 arms in a traditional gesture of judgment. The Council finds no deception here, only different cultural paths toward the same goal, preserving what matters most. She turned to Jinnah. All charges are dismissed. The human may keep his family treasure. As the crowd dispersed, Jinnah's skin glowed with shimmering patterns Taiwan had never seen before. Your grandfather was very wise, she said softly. He knew someday you would need to share what was most private in the right moment. Taiwan carefully sheathed the sword, wondering what other secrets it might contain. I think he would have liked you, he told Jinnah. You both understand that some things become more valuable when shared at the perfect time. Taewon stood on the observation deck of the Earth Embassy, watching the 3 moons of Neria rise above the horizon. 1 week had passed since the revelation of his grandfather's hidden message in the sword. Relations between humans and Nerians had improved dramatically after the event, with many Nerians requesting cultural exchange sessions to learn about Earth's traditions. There you are, Jinnah said, joining him at the viewport. Her skin glowed with warm, comfortable patterns that Taiwan had learned meant she felt happy and relaxed. The ambassador is looking for you, something about a transmission from Earth. Taiwan turned to her with a smile. I'll go in a minute. The moonrise is too beautiful to miss. Jinnah stood beside him, her 4 arms resting casually on the railing. Your grandfather's message changed everything. Even Hyun-Ki has requested to study human history. I still can't believe he hid that technology in an ancient sword. He was always full of surprises. As they watched the moons climb higher, a sudden flash of light streaked across the sky. What was that? Ta-Won asked, leaning forward. More lights appeared, descending rapidly toward the planet's surface. The embassy alarm system activated instantly, bathing the observation deck in red warning lights. Those are ships, Jinnah said, her skin pulsing with alarm patterns. But not Nerian or human design. The embassy communication system crackled to life. All personnel to emergency stations. Unidentified vessels entering Nerian atmosphere. This is not a drill. Taiwan and Jinnah rushed to the command center, where Ambassador Kim was coordinating with Nerian officials. Screens showed multiple ships landing near the planet's largest city. Space pirates, the ambassador explained grimly. The same group that's been raiding outposts in the neighboring system. They must have followed our supply ships. The Nerian High Counselor's image appeared on the main screen. We need assistance. Our defense systems are primarily designed for natural disasters, not armed invaders. Earth vessels are too far away to help, Ambassador Kim said. But we have 30 security personnel here at the embassy. Not enough, Jinnah said, her skin darkening with worry. Taiwan stepped forward. What about the cultural center? It has that new holographic system we installed last week. Jinnah's skin brightened with sudden understanding. The one modeled after your sword's technology. Yes, we could use it to project images of Earth military forces. A bluff, Ambassador Kim mused. It might buy us time until reinforcements arrive. Hours later, Taiwan found himself in the central plaza of the Nerian capital city, his grandfather's sword strapped to his back. Around him, a mixed team of human security officers and Nerian volunteers prepared for the pirates' approach. Jinnah worked frantically at a control panel, connecting the sword's holographic system to the city's larger projection network. Almost ready, she called out, her 4 hands working simultaneously on different controls. But we'll need a strong emotional component to make the projections convincing. The holographic system responds to human brain patterns. Taiwan unsheathed the sword, feeling its familiar weight. My grandfather said it was connected to family memories. I'll try to focus on that. The first pirate ships appeared over the city's edge, sleek black vessels with weapon systems already deployed. Citizens fled indoors as warning sirens blared. Now Taiwan, Jinnah cried. Taiwan raised the sword and began the traditional kata, focusing his mind on his grandfather, on Earth, on his duty to protect. The sword began to glow, brighter than ever before. Suddenly, the city's projection system activated. Massive holographic Earth battleships appeared in the sky above them. Ground troops materialized throughout the plaza, hundreds of soldiers in full combat gear, all moving in perfect synchronization with Taiwan's sword movements. The images were so realistic that even Taiwan almost believed they were real. The pirate ships hesitated, their forward momentum stopping as they assessed the unexpected resistance. Through the embassy communication system, they could hear the pirates' confused chatter. Hold positions, Ambassador Kim ordered over the secure channel. Make them believe it's real. Jinnah stepped forward to stand beside Taiwan, her skin glowing with determination patterns. She reached out and placed one hand on the sword hilt, alongside Taiwan's. My people's bioluminescence can enhance emotional projections, she explained. Together, we might make this even more convincing. As her hand touched the sword, the holographic projections intensified dramatically. The images now included Nerian defense ships alongside the Earth vessels, their designs perfectly realized from Jinnah's knowledge. The pirate ships began backing away from the overwhelming force displayed before them. Minutes later, they accelerated upward, retreating back to space. The plaza erupted in cheers as the projection faded. Taiwan lowered the sword, suddenly exhausted. Jinnah steadied him with her lower arms. We did it, she said, her skin pulsing with joyful patterns. 2 days later, after Earth reinforcements had arrived and the pirate threat had been fully neutralized, Taiwan and Jinnah stood before the Nerian Council and Earth diplomatic corps. Hyamki himself stepped forward, his skin now glowing with respectful blue patterns. The Council has voted unanimously to establish a permanent joint defense protocol with Earth, he announced. Together, we are stronger than either of us alone. The High Counselor nodded in agreement. Lieutenant Park, your grandfather's sword, this blending of ancient tradition with new technology, has taught us that sometimes what seems contradictory can be complementary. Privacy and openness, past and future, human and Nerian. Ambassador Kim stepped forward with a small ceremonial box. Lieutenant Park, Earth has approved your request for extended posting on Neria. You will serve as our first permanent cultural integration officer. Taiwan accepted the box with a bow, then turned to Jinnah, whose skin was rippling with those special patterns he now recognized as affection. I've been studying human customs, Jinnah said quietly, her skin tinged with pink, particularly the concept of dating. Would you be willing to teach me more about it? Taiwan smiled, feeling warmth spread through his chest. "I'd be honored," he replied. "But fair warning. Humans consider some aspects of dating to be private." Jin-Ah's skin sparkled with amusement. "After everything we've been through, I think I'm beginning to appreciate the value of privacy," she said, extending one of her hands to him, "especially when it leads to something worth sharing." As they walked away from the ceremony together, Jin-Ah leaned closer. "So, Earthling, now that I understand about your sword, perhaps you can show me those other interesting long things humans might be hiding." Tai-1 laughed, feeling more at home on this alien world than he ever expected. "That, Jin-Ah, will require a very thorough cultural exchange program.